Right. One of the things that is so key in marriage is trust and total transparency. You can't have a good marriage or great intimacy in your marriage without complete trust and complete transparency. What is trust? Trust is the truth of who you are that you have built over time. I'm not trying to make it complicated at all. It's the truth about who you are that you have built over time. Trust is something you can never demand for. You can't demand to be trusted. Your lifestyle, the things that you say, the way that you behave will either tell your spouse that you're somebody who can be trusted or cannot and should not be trusted. How can you have a good marriage without trust? How do you want to have great intimacy in your marriage without complete trust? I mean, you're trusting this man with your life, you're trusting this woman with your life, yet you can't trust her with your money. You're trusting this person to have children with, yet you cannot trust them with your life. We have a very biased trust system in today's world. In fact, I've seen people, you want to get married to somebody, you don't trust his behavior. You cannot predict. This human being, when he's angry, is something else. He becomes a hooligan. Or when she's upset, there's no one she can't insult, including yourself and your parents. This man, when he's angry, he will insult you, he will slap you, and you're still asking somebody, asking your counselor, should I go ahead and marry this person? Can you see that we have a very abused trust system? Listen, trust is not something that anyone should demand from you. No. You should be able to see for yourself through the signs, the way they're living, the way they speak, the things that they do, the things that they said they would not do, that they've been doing, the things they have promised that they will do, but they've always consistently failed to do, will tell you if this person can be trusted. Even in marriage, you will be able to tell if your husband or your wife is somebody that can be trusted through the way they are living. It's not something your husband will just come. My husband can't just come to me and begin to demand to be trusted. No, I would have watched you over these 17 years of marriage, and then I can decide if truly you're somebody I can trust. And if I can't trust you, I can tell you why. If you don't trust me, you should be able to tell me why. These are ways we build trust. You know, trust is something that's very key in your marriage. If you want to have a solid marriage, one that will stand the test of time, that will be beautiful. I'm not talking about a home where people cohabit or just live as roommates or flatmates. No, I'm talking about building legacy. I'm talking about building a home that has structure, that is sound, that is godly, that is beautiful, that you are enjoying. Then trust is one major ingredient you cannot do without. Now, if you have ever betrayed trust, you should be looking for a way to correct it. You should be able to look for a way to rebuild that trust. You must constantly and consciously take it upon yourself to find ways you can rebuild the trust. Don't be on the defensive. It's not going to help you. You've been a cheating spouse or an abusive spouse. Don't say, oh, your spouse is having plan B. Yes, of course, they will have a plan B because they don't know where they stand with you. They don't know if you're somebody that is reliable through the way you tell lies consistently, through the way you are acting. They cannot sincerely tell if this person in the evening of my life will be there with me. They cannot tell. You are not even somebody they can predict. Isn't it shocking and painful to be with a human being, a man or woman that you cannot predict? Somebody whose words you cannot trust their words. They tell you they're going to Southeast London. You find them in the West. They cannot explain. You're finding strange messages on your husband's phone, on your wife's phone. And then the person is expecting you to sleep and not be worried. How is that possible? If you have ever strayed before, correct yourself. It's that simple. If you have ever been irresponsible before, then you correct yourself. If you have ever lied before, you have a trademark of being a lying spouse, correct yourself. You make up your mind by yourself. It's not your spouse that will compel you. It is your duty. Because in marriage also, we must take responsibility for our actions. Take responsibility. You hit your spouse because you were angry. It's not their fault that you hit them. It's your fault that you were out of order. You were out of control. Now, what do? Maybe you need to take anger management classes. Because these things, they are simpler than we even make them look in today's world. We have so much abused so many things that we just take people for granted. You just take your wife for granted. You've been doing something consistently to your husband and he's telling you, I don't like this. But you carry on doing exactly the same thing and you expect them to trust you. How is that going to work? How is that going to happen? You see, trust is so important. Trust will save your life, I'm telling you. If you're a trustworthy person, your spouse can vouch for you. Even on the day of trouble, when everybody turns their back on you, your spouse can stand with you and say, this man, this woman, I trust her. It's not my wife. She can't do that. It's not my husband. Never. Why? They know your person. You have proven them right over time. You have proven yourself over time that you are responsible, you are reliable, you are truthful, you are honest, you are who you say you are. Isn't that why we love God? Because he's who we say he is. We don't just honor him because he's God. That's one aspect of honor. Another honor we give to God is because he has consistently proven from generation to generation that he is God, that he is true, that he is faithful. He has never lied. He has never changed. His ways are the same. Now, in our cases, as human beings, nobody is expecting perfection from you, but your spouse must see that you're trying. Yes, nobody is expecting that you behave like the Alpha and the Omega, but they must know that you are truthful. There's something beautiful about a man. There's something awesome about a man whose wife, knows that she can go to bed knowing that this man is faithful to the core. This man is honest to the core. How can you, as a married man, your friendships are coded, your phone is coded, your Instagram account, Facebook, social media accounts, they are all coded, everything is passworded. And when you're asked, you get upset. Some people even get upset. Oh, my wife is checking my phone. My husband's checking. My husband can pick up my phone at any time and check. There's nothing to hide. The Bible says they were both naked. They were not ashamed. Why do we think it's impossible in today's world? Because our value systems are flawed. Our value systems have been messed up. We have allowed so much corruption that we have brought it to the home front. Oh, my wife should not check my phone. Who else should check your phone if not your wife? Who else should be able to have access to your life if not your wife? How can you marry somebody and they cannot have access to your phone? What are you hiding? If you have a flawed trust system, begin to correct it. It will give you peace. There's no point being with somebody they don't know who you are. You say you are A, they find out you are B. You are consistently, full of lies, lack of integrity. You do business, you mess everything up. You say A, it turns out to be B. They cannot vouch for you. They don't know who you are. They're just doing it by grace. They're just enduring by grace. Just for the sake of being married. How can you have happiness like that? Even you, do you know that someone who cannot be trusted also will not have peace? There's no way you're going to have peace. You can't be trusted. The person who should trust you even does not know you. Your wife doesn't know you. Your husband doesn't know you. You have plan B, C, D, E. They don't know. So they too be making their plans. What kind of home is that? Let's go back to trust. We need it. Let nobody deceive you. You can't have a good marriage without trust. You can't fake it. Trust is something you can't fake. It's something you cannot demand for. It's something you cannot bully your spouse to give you. How is your character? Even your words, they can't trust you. When you are angry, you will curse out your spouse as if you picked them from the dunghill. You will curse out your spouse as if you picked them from the latrine. You will curse them out as if it was not a human being that gave birth to them. And then you are demanding to be trusted. You are demanding them to give you their all. They can't. There's something within each of us that wants to unlock towards our spouse. I don't want to be around my husband and still feel like I need to put up a wall of defense. I still need to act in a certain way. No, I don't want that kind of home. You want a home where you can be yourself, you can love on each other, you can have peace, you can be sure that this person, come what may, he will be there, she will be there. That's the kind of home we want to have. So if you've ever betrayed trust, take it upon yourself to retrace your steps so that it's not too late for you. If you have something beautiful going on, don't use your own hands to mess it up. Don't use your bad behavior to destroy it. Don't use your lack of concern, lack of sense to destroy it. A bird in hand is worth more than two in the bush. If there's somebody somewhere, married man, somebody somewhere is telling you your wife is not this and that. Have they stood with you for 20 years? Can I ask you? Have they been with you for 5 years through thick and thin when you had nothing? Have they been with you, suffering with you? Where were they when that woman was digging with you? Where were they when you had nothing to offer and she stayed with you and she built with you? Now you are betraying trust. You have no respect for your vows. You are straying. You are either neither here nor there. They don't even know. You're having girlfriends. You're having affairs. And you're wondering why your wife's heart is not unlocked towards you. You're wondering why your prayers are being hindered. Mrs. Wife, you have no regard for your husband. I haven't heard now that married women now cheat more than married men, including the so-called Christian women. Can I ask us this question? Why are we allowing the devil betray us? Why are we allowing the devil injure us? Why are we allowing the devil destroy us? Why are we allowing the same betrayal he did to God? Why are we allowing him to do it in our home and win? Let's get back to basics. Build that trust again. Behave yourself. No honor that is given that cannot be taken. There's no honor that is given that cannot be withdrawn. When your spouse is giving you honor, behave yourself so that you don't mess up and become a person that will be trodden upon, that will be treated like a rag, like a piece of rag by somebody who doesn't even know how polished they have made you. A woman has treated you with so much dignity and respect. You go about messing up yourself. You mess up the name. You mess up the integrity. You mess up everything you have labored and suffered for. You mess up your children. Somebody will point at your children and say, oh, that's their dad. That's their mom. What a shame. Please rebuild that trust. Start to behave like a person who has honor, a person who has dignity, a person of honor, a person of respect, and see how your spouse will give you that trust sparingly without being demanded for. God bless you. Please, let's take it upon ourselves. Be a trustworthy man and a trustworthy woman. It will really help you. Your life will go from here to there, from there to even the place of greater glory. Be a trustworthy person. God bless you now. Bye-bye.